Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the one and only Piglet here from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins for the original Game Boy. So the last time, we have basically just went through a whole bunch of stages actually, like one of them involves around the intro stage, as well as the rest of the stages in the tree zone, as well as that auto-scrolling level over there. And in addition to the hippo level, which actually leads us to the space zone, and we did manage to able to obtain 2 of one of those golden coins so far, out of 6 golden coins so far for the sake of this Let's Play. And today, for this episode, is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the next zone, and possibly another zone after this. So here we go, on to Macro Zone, and right from the start though, is the fact that I think that we're going to be shrunk on this particular entire world. And because of this though, yeah, we're about to be exploring through like undergrounds or anything else like that. So anything else will be expected for a Mario game like this. Even though, for those little ant enemies, it does remind me of that one particular scene from the likes of Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and in one of those little montage segments, which, despite it was actually a cool idea for concept-wise, but execution-wise for that particular film, it just feels a bit meh. Likely due to the fact that they just seems able to rush it out in terms of the release schedule by that point. Even for, you know, originally it came out in 2001, which, that reminds me, that particular film will be also, will be like 2 decades old until by that time, so, but I digress. So yeah, today's day is of course the, I would say today it is the 7th of January today, in this case in 2021. Not much else to talk about honestly, apart from the fact that, well, we've almost at the halfway point in terms of Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Once we're done with that particular game, I can assure you we can probably move on to the next new Let's Play as well, which, it doesn't take that long though, because obviously this game is like really short. Especially noticeable because this is on the Game Boy of all things, which, either way though, that's how I can usually represent it with that, so. And I think in the Macro Zone 1 is that I'm presuming that this level will contain a secret exit, and to get to there, well, you notice these particular blocks as what those ant-looking enemies stand on? Well, this is what the Fire Flower comes in, and basically if you manage to obtain the Fire Flower power-up, and then you have to go back for a bit, and be sure you not to fall off to that particular pit down below, because if you somehow touch those particular spikes down below, you'll be instantly you get an instant death. So, you just have to watch out for that. So, and also, when you get to this bit right there, create 4 of those invisible blocks, and when you're trying to able to, you know, jump onto them, then that way you can able to actually just shoot those fireballs at those particular fireball blocks. That way you can able to actually destroy them and hit into that pipe above, and every once in a while just go all the way to the right and be sure to avoid those ant enemies, and that way you will find a secret exit. So, it's not too complicated or anything like that. In fact, whenever you manage to accomplish that, that also leads us straight to the boss, which, it seems pretty cool if you manage to try to do a speedrun, kind of stuff, which, I'm sure that most people seem to already done that before. So, but even then, I don't feel like trying to able to go for that stuff, though, so because of that, though, I'm just gonna play the game as normal. So, either way, though, let's move on to the secret level in terms of Macro Zone, and once again we have an auto-scrolling level, and to me though, this is by far the hardest ones of the bunch, because you remember the forms of Super Mario World as well as Super Mario Bros. 3, normally you can able to actually just try to able to crouch onto that particular mini hole over there as you saw, and basically that in Super Mario World, along with Super Mario Bros. 3, you would be able to actually do a slight crouch. In this game, not so much, because the only way you can only get to this particular point is you in Small Mario. But again, if you failed quite a few times in those secret levels, as far as I'm aware, you have to find a secret exit again in that previous level that you've already just went into. So, that could be the only difficult part about it, but honestly, it might not be so bad, as long as you need to be very careful with you know, there's going to be a lot of bottomless pits every once in a while, and especially noticeable there's going to be a lot of emphasis on getting crushed most of the time. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, usually in this particular level is that, much like in any other secret levels every now and then, is that obviously it does manage to retain some of those coins you can collect for the sake of the casino kind of segment, and I think that's the only thing I can honestly just try and able to say about this for the most part, so but even then though, there's not much else to it. In fact, relatively speaking, it's the fact that originally I was going to able to do this on my first attempt for this recording session. Thankfully the gameplay footage is actually not too bad, but commentary wise it's a bit mixed bag. Like, one of them involves around in a confusing date, and two is that I just keep on getting a lot of like running out of ideas in terms of news updates or anything else like that. And thirdly is that I always get confused of what I was trying to say. And fourthly is that I just keep on rumbling around like an idiot, which hopefully for the third, or actually this is actually the fourth attempt for able to do this commentary recording, and everything else goes all fine enough and fine and dandy, and plus I mentioned the correct day number, which I think it's usually the 7th of January, so I guess that makes it pretty obvious for the sake of time. But I digress. So now we're going back on to Macro Zone 1 and able to get the normal exit from there, and I think that's as far as I can say in terms of the forms of Macro Zone as it is. Although, sure, the actual theme looks interesting to say the least. Especially noticeable that we're actually traversing through the house. Especially noticeable with the actual grass, gardens, or anything else like that. Which, again, it does remind me of, not only for that one particular scene from Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, you know, with one of those gaming montage kind of segments, but it's also the fact that that also reminds me of, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks, I really am, because I just keep on belching most of the time, which I know you find it incredibly disgusting, which even then, though, that makes it a little bit obvious for that, you know, for the sake of the actual points worth noting for it, but still, I can't deny about the fact that every time when I drink juices or milkshakes or anything like that, sometimes I always get belchiness sometimes, so I digress. But anyway though, it also reminds me of that one particular film, which I know most people seem to never talk about, which appears to be the the Ant Bully, and it's like a Warner Brothers version of A Bug's Life and Ant's DreamWorks movie, which that film is not that great for the Ant Bully because, well, although it kind of reminds me of Ants, but except, well, a little bit bare bones. But I will honestly still say that I think Ants is actually, my honest opinion, is actually one of my childhood memory films as opposed to the other two. I know it's down to my opinion, but I'm sure most people seem to have their own opinions as well, which that maybe seems the case, mind you, so I digress. Anyways, in this particular level, Macro Zone 2, is the fact that, well, usually in the beginning portion it's not that spectacularly surprising, until whenever you get into the pipe down below, then you would be able to come across into some swimming segments, and because of that, we need to avoid some familiar enemies, mainly with the forms of Cheep Cheeps right here. And, honestly, I think the underwater controls in this game can sometimes feel a bit awkward at times. Well, usually it's not too bad for the most part. It's just that every time whenever I was trying to jump off the water, sometimes though I have to able to try to hold down the jump button, and then that way I can do it from there. I have no idea how do I supposed to get that particular item down there, but hopefully we'll have to deal with this, I truly think. But regardless of such though, is the fact that I'm pretty sure that we're now to the halfway point in terms of Macro Zone. Although I'm not exactly sure what it usually calls it in the Japanese version of the game, but oh really? Whatever. At least I got the midway point, so at least I'm pretty much gonna be okay from there. So in fact the bell itself just managed to somehow disappears when every time you die, and then the bell somehow just disappeared and stuff like that. So, well, it's unlike the ones how it does it in well, let's just say in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic Triple Trouble as well as Sonic Blast, you have to reactivate. Are you kidding me? I died on the same Cheep. I blame on my jump button for my part. At least we're not that far from here though, I don't think. So, hopefully, third time's the charm, and hopefully we would be able to pass that particular part. Well, not so much for this part, because I honestly find this part is not too shabby, but the ones when I did manage to die twice on, I have to get past on it. But I digress. Another thing is worth noting for as well, that, well, as far as I'm aware, about the fact that, actually, to be honest with you, there's not much else I can honestly try to talk about, apart from the fact that, well, recently I managed to able to get back into playing some Zelda games, basically, because, obviously next month, it will be the Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary at some point next month, which I'm really hyped about. Especially noticeable, it's a good thing I did manage to able to go ahead and just try to play some Zelda games while I wait for the next anniversary of the Zelda game to be announced. Mainly with the forms of I managed to able to go back into The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64, and hopefully trying to able to complete that game eventually. And also to top it off, I managed to recently got started in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U. And I know it seems a bit controversial for able to play in the Wii U nowadays, because obviously the Switch is actually a lot better in terms of selling points or anything else like that, but I digress. Oh yeah, in this particular level is that basically the actual main emphasis on this level is these conveyor belts. Every time you step onto those little arrowed sides in between the actual conveyor belts, that way it just takes you to the actual direct direction for that particular conveyor belt, as you can tell. Yeah, not much else to talk about this level. It's just pretty simple for the most part, so even then though, as long as you were able to actually get yourselves, oh gosh, fire. Again, much like in any other 2D Mario games, that if you somehow touch the fire or the lava, it instantly kills you. That's what I meant to say. So either way though, yeah, there's not much right to home about in this level, because assuming if you're able to use the Bunny Mario, it should make the level a lot easier for you. Oh jeez Louise, I think I honestly trying to blame my emulator, because most of the time my jump button doesn't come out too well. But I'm really hoping that won't be the case until, like, let's just say the next set of those Game Boy Let's Plays. Mainly with, well, if I like to say, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, or Donkey Kong 94, or anything else like this. And, hey, at least we can able to actually get ourselves even more extra lives from there, thanks to the forms of that particular crane game. And, hopefully we should able to get enough lives to able to survive ourselves, basically. Alright, so now let's move on to the last level in Macro Zone, which obviously leads us to the boss. So, even then though, all we can do here is just basically just go to the right, and that's all there is to it. Assuming if you're able to use the Bunny Mario, should make the level a lot more easier, but it's also at the same time kind of broken sometimes, because you can just simply just mash the jump button, and that way you could potentially try to able to flap all the way towards the right. In fact, it does remind me of that particular moment in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, where you play as E123 Omega. Basically, you can able to actually mash the jump button, and then if you mash the jump button at the right moment, you can just simply just mash the able to actually just to float for a bit, and as a result, or hover for a bit, and as a result, it just makes the entire portions of Omega segments a lot easier for such as myself and all that stuff though, unlike that dreadful Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, where, you know, everything else is all glitched up and anything else like this, and it's just, ugh. Sorry, I just really hate that game so much. Anyway, another thing is worth noting for, oh yeah, by the way, these are the conveyor belts that you do have to able to go hold on to the right though. And if you go to that pipe over there, this is where we come up towards the third boss in the game, which is Sewer Rat. And basically, he's pretty simple if you manage to get the hang of it though. The only hardest part about this boss fight sometimes is that the predictable movement, which he always comes up as like way too fast sometimes. even then though, this boss fight reminds me of so much of that, well, I would say the Iggy Koopa boss fight from New Super Mario Bros. U, except the fact that it takes place in the, well, let's just say the actual, inside the house itself, rather than just on the airship of all things. And there we go, folks, we actually got the 3rd golden coin, and looks like we're onto the halfway point of the game right now. So even then though, now let's move on to the next zone, which appears to be the Pumpkin Zone. And fundamentally speaking, is that unlike the other 2 zones, where it does manage to contain 1 secret exit, whilst in this particular zone does contain 2 secret exits. Like, one of them is actually in the 2nd level, as well as the other one on the 3rd level. So hopefully we'll come across into those, until whenever I discuss on that, whenever we do actually to somehow make it. So, and as you can see, that there's going to be a lot of hazards to avoid, mainly with those little sparks, as well as those little enemies that has a, well, I would say a dango, or anything like that, hanging onto their heads. But, at first I thought you can able to actually just to jump them and kill them, but apparently you do. But for whatever reason, I just simply just managed to avoid that for whatever reason, just for the sake of, like, spikiness or anything else like this, but I just have no idea how do I try to explain about this. Oh, I need that, that heart life, because that way we can able to get up to, like, 31 extra lives, and instantly we got a checkpoint, so pretty cool, I have to say. Even though despite the fact that we go on to the Pumpkin Zone, at least despite the fact that we only got about 9 months left until specifically 2021 Halloween, which I know it seems a lot like a long time to able to actually just to get onto that stuff. But anyway, oh goodness, I'm gonna have to do this within like smaller form of Mario right here, including this little I would say a wizard enemy or something like that, and I seem to miss that little bonus game. Oh well, whatever. Big yourselves can be choosers, I suppose, when it comes to likely do not get, you know, bonus games sometimes. So anyways, here we go on to Pumpkin Zone 2, where basically, the main emphasis on this level is that, you notice with that particular weird looking faces, whenever they stick a tongue at us, well, if you somehow touch them, well, you instantly die. Well, you lose a power-up if you're in any form, but if you're in Small Mario, it will kill you. So, yeah, you just have to watch out for that. So, and it's a good thing there's actually a checkpoint right there. In fact, I always have a hard time trying to reach up to it. At least despite the fact that you can able to actually just to try to go ahead and trying to able to actually reach it as Big Mario or Super Mario form, but I managed to do this like a hard way fashion, so anyway, so let's go ahead and go on to the left to get a mushroom, and oh wow, we have ourselves Albu right here, ever since in Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World. So yeah, it's nice to see those guys again, except the fact that, well, this is on the Game Boy of all things, so anyways, let's go into that pipe, and hopefully we should able to continue things on from this point here. And also take a notice from Super Mario World, we can just simply manage to obtain any power-up, and fundamentally speaking, is that this level does contain a secret exit, and to get to the secret exit, we need any form except Small Mario or Bunny Mario, because one thing that's the only drawback to you know, Bunny Mario is that Bunny Mario does not able to perform a spin jump, so you have to specifically equip Fire Mario or Normal Mario until you're able to actually just to get to the secret exit as we go. And for the most part, it's not too bad, just trying to able to actually swim downwards from here and trying to avoid a lot of hazards, including those, you know, these weird faces that are trying to stick a tongue at us. And also, same applies to the forms of those little spikes on top. And when you get to this point, well, we do need to able to, you know, perform a spin jump, and that way you can able to break those 2 blocks, and, you know, continue to the right, and that should lead us to the secret exit, like so. And from here, we can able to go out for a bit, and manage to go on to the next level, in this case, the Pumpkin Zone Secret Area 1. And from the actual stage itself, it's basically another coin collectathon level, which it might actually help you out though, especially noticeable if you really want to go after more extra lives. And yeah, you can probably definitely gonna do that. But obviously the stage is really easy. It's like a bonus game of any sort or something like that in terms of the actual main level. Now once you're done with that particular level, well, the actual pumpkin face actually just has this change of a face. Mainly it now has eyes, so yeah, that seems interesting enough. I don't think there's any alteration when it comes to like the macro zone once you finish that particular the secret level in macro zone, because I don't see any differences between the alterations of the map. But what I've noticed is the fact that usually, unlike in the tree zone where the flower starts blooming and the entire background, and then it evolves within well, in Space Zone, if you complete the secret level on the Space Zone, obviously the moon's face is now becoming sad. And as far as Macro Zone is concerned, there is nothing else different about it. Well, at least I do need to pay attention to that next time around though, which it might be seems a bit too late at this point right now, because obviously we're still, you know, trying to explore the majority of the Pumpkin Zone, as you can see. And obviously that we've actually already come across into that one alternative thing that's been going on in the visual changes standpoints for the world map, which is of course the pumpkin in the actual world map now actually has eyes, and there's also the second alteration between the map, which we'll point things out whenever we get into it, because obviously we'll have to go through this stage again, but except now we need to go ahead and find the normal exit. So yeah, this stage is nothing right to hum about, honestly. In fact, it's actually really easy for the most part. So, although the only time it makes it a bit tricky and difficult is just with the you know, the requirements of the secret exit sometimes. But apart from those side of things though, that's all I can honestly try to say. And from here, I got another Starman, which, as I said this before, to get the actual spare Starman, you have to get, or in this case, you have to, like, defeat about 100 enemies. And then if you do, then that's how you essentially get the freebie Starman. So, yeah, that's how it goes, basically. Alright, let's move on to Pumpkin Zone 3, which I think this is another one of those levels that also feature another secret exit as well. And I think it does require a specific power-up, much like the forms of that secret exit in Tree Zone 2. Well, I'm pretty sure we do need to acquire Bunny Mario in order to able to get the secret exit. And what do I mean by that? Well, you'll find out until whenever we find the super carrots that we can able to equip, such as here. And in this level is the fact that we obviously gonna have to deal with those little lit up blocks, and then obviously we ended up in the actual haunted house, so we could expect this much to be more likely a spooky vibe. I kinda wish if the new Mario game to able to actually have a spooky themed world like this, as opposed to you know, individual ghost houses from the likes of the new Super Mario Bros. Series, which I have no idea why I'm truly asking about this right about now, but that's just how it goes for me though. So I believe the secret exit is actually not that far ahead, so I think it was actually, I would say in this bit. Yeah, it's this bit right there. Run up and just try to able to flap your bunny ears and dodge that ghost Goomba of all things. And that way you go all the way to the right to find, what else? The secret exit. So it's not too shabby for the most part if you manage to try to go ahead and find it. So anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to the secret level number 2 in terms of, you know, Pumpkin Zone. And the main emphasis on this level is that, you know, with these little blocks, as I mentioned this before, ever since in Macro Zone 1, well, this is actually requirements to able to, like, progress for the level if you obtain the Fire Flower. But if you manage to able to actually do a Bunny Mario trick like I was doing right here, you can easily try to able to skip the entire portion of the level instantly. Which, I know it seems a bit cheating as far as, you know, using that technique to begin with, but honestly, it's just the fact the matter is though, is that I just love certain speedrun stuffs like this. And once you're done with this particular level, the boost now actually showed up from the graveyard. So, all these little gravestones in particular, which it does seems pretty cool looking. So, but either way though, that's the that was the only time we can able to actually just assault that, so. And especially noticeable, whenever we get on to next Tuesday, specifically the next 2 zones, mainly with, well, one of those zones does not contain any secret exits at all, and then the other zone, until later on anyway, will contain the final secret exit, which we'll point things out whenever we get into it, until, as I said before, until next Tuesday, in specifically the 12th of, you know, January. So, but either way though, that's all I can honestly try to say for this point right here, so. Again, I do apologize with the actual commentary itself. It feels a bit, well, meh at points, but apart from those side of things though, is the fact that I've already explained quite a few amount of stuff, specifically with all these secret exits that I've managed to found, as well as some discussions I did manage to point things out. Actually, kind of think about it, the end of the level is just not that far ahead either. So it's literally, like the exact same level length, well, in terms of likely between 2 exits in mind, so. And once again, I keep on getting a lot more extra lives from there. Which, you know, I don't mind that, because obviously, until whenever we get to the end game, I do definitely need to grind more extra lives, assuming if I was going to try to do that, so. Anyways, let's move on to the final level in the forms of Pumpkin Zone, and as to be expected, we need to do a platforming level before the boss. And yeah, that's honestly all I was going to say about this. So, I know it seems not by much, mind you, but still. Anyways, let's go ahead and just try to avoid a lot of enemies from here, including that particular cauldrons. Well, if you stand on that cauldron, acts out as platforms, well, you don't have to worry about that at all. But, keep that in mind though, you do need to dodge those particular fire, because otherwise... Oh gosh, broomsticks! That's something worth noting for. And of course, we do need able to be very careful, because, obviously, I'm still usually trying to keep my, Bunny Mario power up at all times, so that way I would be able to potentially try to go ahead and, trying to keep that from here. I've no idea why I'm saying things like that, because, again, there's not much else I can honestly try to say about this for the most part, aside from, you know, just other things I'd like to mention, but I think that's all I can say. Alright, so we need to dodge those pipes, because I'm pretty sure that leads us to the deadliest point. And then if we go to the right, this is where we come towards the next boss. And her name was... a witch. Yeah, I'm not kidding. A witch. That's her name is. So basically, all you have to do is that every time when she teleports to a different spot, basically you have to jump onto her head 3 times. And keep that in mind, if she casts a spell, which is the flames, right onto those cauldrons, basically it allows the actual lids to be able to take us to these spikes or these little horns from above. So yeah, you have to watch out for that. But if you manage to have a Bunny Mario power-up with you, this makes the entire boss a little bit easier. So, there we go. There's our 4th golden coin that we've actually got, and only 2 more to go. So, but even then though, that's all I can honestly try to say about this for the most part. Before we end this off, I'll go ahead and pop over to the casino part, and basically just trying to spend... let's just say, actually I might as well able to pass it on that, because, well, I think I've already got a lot of extra lives as it is. So, anyways, we got the endings up at this point right here, so join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the last 2 zones before the final level in the game, which there are Mario Zone as well as the Turtle Zone. So I'll see you guys until at some point in next Tuesday. So I'll see you guys then. Later, fellas.